Welcome back to the studio. Today I'm working on a different piece for me. This is a bear, and I have Jackson, my dear friends, Coach Grant Taff and Donnell. Coach was the head coach at the Baylor Bears up in Waco for many years, and he's now retired. But he asked me, he saw Jack's masks, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I'd love to have a bear for a face mask." So I thought, I'm just going to paint him a bear. Just be fun, a little departure, and in kind of a Jack White style. And I've watched Jack paint a lot of these animals and things, so I can't duplicate what he would do, but I can do my own version of it. So anyway, first of all, I have lightly penciled in, you can probably see, I've lightly penciled in my basic anatomy of the bear, outline and eyes and nose. And now I'm coming back, this is a mixture of my mud plus Liquin. And the mud is 2 parts of Ultramarine Blue and 1 part of Alizarin Crimson. And I have gotten a lot of the outline of the bear kind of just feathered in. And now I want to get his eyes in and some of the features on his face, his eyes and his nose. Now what I do is this is again is my mud plus Liquin. Just want to get these eyes in. He's going to have golden eyes. The background's going to be the Baylor green, and then his eyes are going to be gold because Baylor's colors are green and gold. And so we're just going to have fun with it. I'll make his eyes just a little tiny bit bigger than they actually are, just to be able to highlight that gold. So I block them in solid. Then I can the light's going to be coming in from the upper left. So there's going to be a catch light on about 11 o'clock on the left side. That's a little too big, but I'll go back and fix it. And this is just up near the lid. The cornea, the clear part of the eye, is curved, and so it's moist, it catches that light. So there's a little catch light up here. And then on this side, the iris then gets a little light on it. And again, I'm just lifting this wash off of here with it. I dipped my brush in thinner and then wiped it out. But this just gives me the feel for the eyes. I'll come back and paint them, but I just want to get these in. And the iris, the colored part of his eyes, will be kind of a golden brown. So I just want to get that in so I start getting Jack said, the eyes are the soul of the portrait. And so I just want to get those in so I get a feel for it. And now I can kind of start blocking in. The Grizzly Bear is darker around his eyes. And he comes up here. I have my reference material taped to my easel. I can also view it on my laptop, but for me it's just easier just to print out some of the pictures and put them on right there on my easel. Here left is the big bear that Jack did for Coach. That's how they met. When Coach first came to Baylor in 1972, he contacted Jack. Jack was state artist of Texas, and Coach went into a little store and said he saw some of Jack's gold leaf work, and he said, "Oh my gosh, that would be so wonderful to have a new image for Baylor, and just a nice proud bear." And the one they had was just fangs and teeth dripping with blood, and he said we hadn't beat anybody in years. He said I needed a new proud bear. And so that's what Jack did for him. And this hangs in Coach's suite at the McLean Stadium in Waco. And so I'm how many ever years later is this, from 1972? Now I'm doing a painting for Coach, a bear for Coach. And we've just, Jack and Coach and Donnell, they were like family, and they just, the minute Jack introduced them to me, I mean, they just adopted me, just welcomed me with open arms. And I can remember first meeting them, that we went to, they were playing at the Copper Bowl in Tucson, and Jack and I went to meet them, and I was so nervous. This was the famous Grant half. And I was just, Jack had just talked about him so much, and I just always held Grant and Donnell and just put them on a huge pedestal. So I was just nervous wreck. And the door to the suite opened up, and Grant just gave me this huge bear hug, and I mean, there was just, that was it. I mean, they've been just wonderful to me, and just, so anyway, this is a bear for Coach, and for his masks. But anyway, this is, get off on telling stories. It has big nose, and just can get this in here. Again, this is my wash in. I want to establish the planes and just kind of the hair patterns. But I love these bright brushes, this square tipped brush, because you can see how I can cover a large area, or I can go back in and make a smaller details, which is the corner of the brush. Now the top of his nose he's got a highlight here. Let me get this all in, and then I'll come back in and clean my brush out. And I can just lift that wash off of there. Now I have primed my canvas. The canvases I get are already primed, but I like to add an extra coat of white acrylic, just a white acrylic priming coat on them. And that gives it just enough slickness that I can come back in and just lift my wash off in my basic wash-in stage. And that's just a technique that works for me. I mean, may not work for you, but this is how I do it. Artists are individual, and it's just like, it's just like wearing a hat. Everybody wears a hat differently. So this is, get his nostrils blocked in, and then come here, side of his face, side of his muzzle here. It's a little darker in this area. But you can see how I can use this brush in a variety of ways to get cover different areas. And this comes back here. Then he gets a little bit darker here around his muzzle. There's a little, the skull, there will be, between the two bones coming down to the nasal bones, there will be just a slight indentation between those two. It doesn't show real apparent in the drawing, and it really doesn't show up. I want to accentuate it here just so I remember to, you just get that shape. And then coming in his mouth, his gum in here, part of his teeth are showing. Here I'm going to work around his teeth. Now drawing them in. So he'll just be seeing a little bit of his teeth there. And then this is the lower part of his mandible there that's showing. And then his lip comes down. Very dark in here. That's chin. This kind of just shows you how I get him blocked in. Now I'm going to darken this all, and then I'll come back in and lift out the highlights in that dark. That lip kind of drops down. Kind of goes out there. Okay, now I can come back and lift out the highlights in here where it's moist and the light hits that black, and just you can just see the highlights on it. Now his teeth won't be that white, but for right now that's just, I'm leaving them that way because I'll need that information to when I paint it. Then his hair underneath his chin, the light's coming in from the upper left, so this is going to be darker under here. See how I can use that brush to just get that feeling of the fur. And this kind of, he has a fur kind of makes a separation here. And then he's got another separation there. Just the form of his face. Got a separation here, and this comes down there. So that's how I wash in my sketch for my bear. I hope you'll come and follow along and watch how this progresses. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also have a blog. The link is in the description below. The address is also on the final frame of my YouTube video, and on the blog I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting as well as others I do. So please feel free to subscribe also to my blog, because that way you'll see the entire step-by-step process. I know a lot of you, I'll get a message through YouTube, well, where's the rest of this painting? Well, if you'll just go to my blog, you'll see it. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for visiting the studio, and happy painting.